heaven if you don't go to church? Okay? I really hope the answer is yes, because I'm a house parent and I almost never get to go to church. I think last year I set the record for a number of times I went to chapel consecutively. I know you guys hold the record, but as far as from a house parent perspective. Here's the thing. There's nothing in the Bible that talks about going to a building one day a week and that being something that you need to do in order to get into heaven. Okay? You won't find that anywhere. So if anybody tries to tell you that, you won't find it. However, okay, let me just say this. All through the Bible, and especially with the people who follow Jesus, they would meet regularly together, and they would do things like they would pray together, they would study together, they would share meals together, they would collect money and use it to bless other people together. There was this sort of community thing going on. It doesn't necessarily mean that they all sat in a big room and all the chairs were facing the same direction and they sang songs, in the same key or whatever, there's an organ or anything like that. It doesn't mean that that was necessarily going on. But all throughout the history of people who've been following Jesus, there's been some kind of community group aspect to that. And so that's really what the Bible means when it talks about church. We hear the word church and we think building. We think steeple and we think that's what we think. And that's not what the Bible's talking about. It's talking more about a community of people who are sharing life together. And so if you want to be serious about your faith, then, and following Jesus, you cannot do it alone. If you're like, I'm going to follow Jesus, we're going to live in a cave somewhere in the woods, it'll be great, just me by myself, and y'all have a pet wolf or something like that. That's neat, but that's not what God desires. God desires for us to have relationships with other people, friendships, to be like a family kind of unit, that we would encourage each other, help each other through good times and bad. That's what a church is. And so, no, if you don't go to the church building all the time, it doesn't mean anything. You're gonna get there, guys, and be like, I looked at your Sunday school attendance, and it is not so great. So it's not necessarily going to happen. However, if you want to grow in your faith, being part of some community of people who think that way and want those things would be excellent. The book of Acts in the New Testament is a great book to read. It's a story of how the first church, how they acted, what they did, and it talks at different points about how they shared all their possessions. So we're all right, they're pretty sweet, because I don't have an iPod and so does, and if we shared all our possessions, that'd be awesome. But they shared everything, and it says nobody in their community was in need. Nobody was in need. And I think that the ideal for God is that there would be communities of people where nobody would be in need at all. And so that's, I think, one of the things that God thinks about when he thinks about what a church looks like. So that's kind of a snapshot answer to that question. Turn it over to Pastor Mike.